Welcome back to the Trendy Show, my lovelies. Well, Deavan Clegg of 90 Day Fiance reveals that she is officially divorced from Jihoon, and she also throws in some more gems. Now, I don't know if that's some solid gold gems or some fool's gold, but anyway, let's examine what she posted online. She says, after an almost 2-year battle, I am officially divorced. I couldn't be happier. This journey was very difficult and draining. After my ex had fired his lawyer, he never showed up to court, nor took up visits. After almost a year of the judge postponing and extending dates for my ex to respond, we finally made it to court. After a year of frustration, I can finally close this chapter for people asking. I was awarded full soul and physical custody. I can finally speak out about my experience and the hell we went through as a family. I plan on releasing a video soon. Now, my lovelies, let me just say that Jihoon firing his attorney, there was some concerns about the attorney's character and motives online. According to Jihoon, the man wanted him to do a bunch of YouTube videos and all this and raise money, and I don't know. It was a lot of questions about the funding, allegedly. Now, moving on. What I have to say is it's kind of sad how Deavan is calling this whole thing a chapter in her life. A lot of people on these shows, they rush into the marriage, and this is supposed to be for life, not a chapter, okay? And it's not going to be a chapter ever, Deavan, because you got a kid from it. All right? So that's going to be continuing on, and you'll forever be linked to Jihoon. And you can't be that good of mom if you're bragging, because you're not building a bridge to form some kind of bond between Jihoon and his dad, because then he's going to regret it, and you're going to be to blame, and not Jihoon, because Jihoon, you knew what you got for him, miles away. And how can he attend these court proceedings in the U.S.? It's a lot of questions. But moving on, the fans had some questions, and they were asking Deavan. They wanted to know, does Taeyang remember his biological father? And Deavan says, honestly, she doesn't think so. He hasn't spoken to him since he was 13 months old. Taeyang is now 3 years old. My ex was in his life for 4 to 13 months old. Topher that's her new man that she has also knocked up. So this is her third baby daddy, has been in Taeyang's life for 2 years. Taeyang calls Topher dad and cries for him more than me. I think Taeyang only knows him. Unfortunately, that is what my ex decided. He had his rights and didn't take them. Does the father of the baby boy contacts him? In October, it will be officially 2 years since he has tried to call or reach out to Taeyang. During the GoFundMe and divorce, he never reached out. His team tried to claim we were preventing him from reaching out, which we proved false. It was the other way around. We tried to reach out and even had to schedule webcam visits, which we never got a response for. This is the main reason why I was awarded full custody during the divorce. Now it is permanent. Did the divorce happen in the U.S. or Korea, and how do divorces work when you're married in another country? It came down to where Taeyang lived the longest. Taeyang lived in America most of his life at that point in time and had only lived in Korea for 7 months, one of which he was in America, so technically 6 months. So it had to be filed in America since we had jurisdiction. Why did you leave the boy's dad? If you want me to be 100% honest, I don't think there was a romantic connection to begin with. We both felt this and had talked about it several times. We did everything for the show because he had debts and I had medical bills to pay. When I moved there, we never slept in the same bed. We faked it for YouTube and the show. Listen to that, okay? They never slept in the same bed, and she faked it for YouTube and the show. Just hold that thought. Moving on. Once he became abusive, I made him stay at his parents'. And she's claiming he was knocking Drusilla upside the head, whatever, and pulling her hair out. Unfounded claims. But moving on. I planned, so once he became abusive, I made him stay at his parents. I had planned to return home in March. Then COVID hit and my flight was canceled. We both had ended the relationship in November, but decided to finish the season. We both knew we had to continue filming. So remember now, she said that they never slept in the same bed. They were just faking it for the show and YouTube. Okay? Approximately when did this all go wrong? How did us viewers never know? Tea house. It was done and over at that point. I was going to fly home with my mother, but we decided to at least film the wedding. That was a month later. During that time, I found out about the pregnancy. We decided to try and make it work. When I had the miscarriage, that's when him and I both knew it would never work. He flew back to America to film interviews. During that time, we broke up for good. The season wasn't finished, so we decided to finish the season. I stayed in Korea until March to finish. Okay, listen, how are you going to wind up pregnant and you're not sleeping in the same bed or anything? You just faking it for YouTube and the show? So, we tell one line, that's a big one to tell. How did you come up pregnant if you weren't together? Moving on. Now, do you think if the divorce was settled in Korea, he still would have been as unresponsive? Yes. Korea is very different. It isn't normal. It isn't abnormal for one parent to disappear after a divorce. Some people pretend it never happened and move on with their lives. That's how it is over there. People don't want others to know of their mistakes over there, so they pretend it didn't happen. This is based on my knowledge. Doesn't mean every case, but a majority of cases I saw, it was like this. Okay, Deavan, moving on. If the grandparents ever reached out to establish a relationship, would you allow it? Yes, I never stopped any grandparents from reaching out. Sadly, for both my children, no one has. But at the same time, my children don't know otherwise. They have a big support team, so I don't think they know different or understand. Did the show ask you guys to do more seasons? Listen here. Okay, I'm going to pour some tea on this. They asked if I was willing to continue filming with him for Happily Ever After. This would be after production knew of the abuse. This is a huge reason why I severed ties and will never do the show again. That is, she did not sever ties. The show severed ties with Deavan. Best believe. The word on the curb was Drusilla was out of pocket. And they couldn't get much filming done. They called in extra producers to help get some footage. But it was like pulling teeth to get things done because Drusilla was wild thing going on, okay? Also, Drusilla had problems in school when she was over there in Korea, hitting and punching and spitting everybody and everything. So I do not believe that she severed ties because Jihoon beat up Drusilla, supposedly. I just don't. Allegedly, it was due to, it was very hard to film with Drusilla. And someone says, so your storyline was fake all along. This is why I'm done watching this show. And here she answers, some was fake, some was real. Season 1 was 96% was fake. I wasn't seeking honor or approval. When you saw us in Vegas, we were already married on paper. It wasn't either of our ideas to get married, but his parents insisted to make it work. We both thought we were doing the right thing and feelings could happen later on. I never moved to Korea in season 1. We planned a 7-day trip because filming insisted we had to film scenes in Korea because it's TOW. I was never going to move. We got cast for season 2 and agreed to stay in Korea for filming. As for his debt and crimes, I really didn't know and found out on camera. Season 2, I would say 50-50 drama was real. After the tea house, we were both in it for just to get paid. We knew if we didn't finish the season and speak out, we wouldn't get paid because they don't pay you until the show was finished airing. So there you go, my lovelies. Deavan is saying, hey, her and Jihoon were faking it most of the time, especially during season 1. Season 2, it was 50-50. But I wonder what were they faking, okay? So what were they faking? Because if you weren't together like that, how'd you wind up pregnant? How'd you wind up pregnant during season 2? If it was just fake, you didn't want to get married, but you got married because his parents were insisting. That seems believable. But you said you weren't sleeping in the same bed, and you said the whole first year was fake, and you said the second season was half fake, but you wind up with a whole baby in your belly. I just don't understand. My lovelies, you guys, what do you guys think of this? Let's continue this conversation in the comment sections as we always do. Hit the notification bell and subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, and share if you care. All right, my lovelies, I'll catch you all out on the flip side.